So, Mu, so as an introduction, could you present yourself, your curriculum, and your first step in as a Chinese architectural film, and maybe some step before the return to China till the South Yard, and then Angelina will take the hand to ask the questions she prepared for you.
Okay, good. Thank you, Magali, and thank you, Angelina. Okay, I have a bit in the cough, some coughing sometimes, so do not worry, it's not COVID-19, it's okay. My name is Mu Wei. I'm born in 1982. So I study in China, in Wuhan. My university is called Huazhong University of Science and Technology. And then I work in Spain and Norway for 5 or almost 6 years. And the reason why I want to work in Spain because when we study in China at that time, we have a lot of knowledge from English word and the German word. And we have a few knowledge from Latin and even French architects. So I was surprised by the Spanish architects. They are doing a lot of cool works, but not really known in China. So I decided to work in Spain for 2 years. I work in Pamplona. It's a Basque area city, actually to the north of Spain, next to France actually. And I worked 2 years in Spain, and then I moved to Norway because I want to know why the Norwegian design is very simple, very light, and very environmentally friendly. So then I work in Spain, in Norway for another 2 years. And in this office, we are very lucky. We won the competition for the Norwegian pavilion in Shanghai Expo. So that was my connection again with Europe and China. So we won the competition for the Norwegian pavilion in Shanghai. And in 2010, actually I brought my Norwegian office in China. We have a interesting tour and lectures and workshops with my university. And then my dean want me to stay to teach in my university. So from 2010, I returned to China to be a teacher in my university. And then we created the advanced architecture lab. It means we concentrate on advanced technology and advanced in methodology. I think architecture is more than form design, it's more than beauties. It's really connected with the people, community, and the urban context. So from that time, we create our AAL, the small office, and we concentrate on many experimental projects, basically digital prefabbed only with bamboo or timbers. And then after some small interesting project, we received the project of the South Yard. And I think we finished the project around 2015 or 16. Yeah, I think it's from 2015 to 16. It's a project in the south of China, and it's a renovation project. And our strategy is to keep the quality of the old building and try to keep the quality of the new buildings. So that was an interesting project. And after that, we are still continuing with the open source architecture. We call it the wiki building, which means we involve the kids and families into the nature, and we build together and we share the final result as a cabin, as a pavilion, as some iconic installations. So that's what we have now. And actually last week, we have a small summary about what we have done. I think we have been involved more than 3,000 kids and families in the architecture process. And we have built, I think, around 95 cabins altogether, from small ones, temporary ones, permanent ones. It's almost 100 timber buildings since 2010. And I think Magali knows a bit about what we are doing now, because we are based in Wuhan, where the COVID-19 boomed from 2020. And after that, we decided to create a really wiki building community. So we rent a big forest and we made some cabins on our own. And then we invited many families to build all together. So now we have a very interesting camp. Now we have 12 cabins already. And from February of 2021, we have been involved 23 festivals. And I think around 800 people, 800 families involved in the building process. So that's what we have now. And from this year to next year, we received a lot of invitations in different cities in China. They really enjoy our wiki building philosophy. So I think for now, we have 3 invitations in China, in Shanghai, in Guangzhou, in Chongqing. We're gonna copy our wiki camp in these different cities. So that's what we have, Magali and Angelina.
Now I'm gonna ask you some questions, more particularly about the social project. Okay. First question, how did you get this project?
It's a commission project. It's very interesting because I was invited by a dinner hosted by the French embassy. You know, I think it's a French culture, Sino-French culture festival, something like that. And we have a big round table dinner. And in the dinner, the client of the South Yard, her name is Miss Huang, and we are in the same table. And we just say hello, shake hands, and what you're doing. And I share one of my projects before. And she was very surprised because she saw this project from a Japanese magazine, not a Chinese magazine. And she believed it's a Japanese architect's work. And it's very high-end work from her ideas. And she was surprised I'm the designer. So she's very happy to know me. And then she introduced me, okay, she has a project in Guangxi, and she wants to rent and rebuild a village, an old village. So that's how I get the project.
And what were expectations about this project particularly? What did she wanted?
Yeah, and maybe before the expectation of the client, which project was it, Mu Wei, that you share with GlueBam house?
Silk house.
The silk house.
The one with the white robes.
Okay.
In the forest.
Okay.
Actually, it's not published in China. Very strange. No Chinese media published this work, but in Japan and German, it's published a lot.
So she saw the silk house. And then to return to Angelina's question, so what was the expectation of Miss Huang? What does she want to do for the South Yard?
Okay, in the beginning, I think because he is also a citizen, and he's very interested in reactivating the Chinese village, because at that time, even now, I mean, we call it the holy village, because most of the villagers moved to China to work, you know, as workers, as laborers. So in the Chinese village, it's almost empty. We call it only kids and the grandparents stay. So no really middle age or young people staying in the village. So she plans to participate in the process of reactivating the village. So she rented the red brick house and the land. So her plan was to make something like a classroom or gallery or some culture functions to reactivate the village, which allows the citizen to return to the village and also give some benefits of the kids staying in the village. So that was her mission.
Yeah, but more particularly about the building really is a mix between new and old. Yeah. This what she wanted, something really like new architecture and not really keep the old architecture.
Okay. I think it's an interesting story because when I was invited to the village, there are, I think, 6 old buildings with the bricks, with the ram earth. There are 5 ram earth buildings. It's very beautiful, but the leader of the village just demolished them. This because I think they don't have enough confidence, because in China they are in the poor area, and all their dream is to make money in the city and to make a concrete building like the citizens' villa, and they prefer the European style, you know, with the European columns, European decorations. They're gonna feel confident. But we insisted on keeping this old, the last red brick building, because that was my philosophy. I said we should keep the quality of the memories, because the village has their value. The value is really underestimated. It's not about confidence. It's about we should keep the history and make it shining again. And for the new building part, I also want to emphasize with Ms. Huang. I said there are many Chinese architects. They can make something very iconic, like solo dance. I call it solo dance in the village. Very charming and very formalist. But I said, I think we concentrate on the quality of the old building, and for the new building, we think actually the future of the new village building, it doesn't have to be very charming or iconic. It should be very simple and very translucent, and it should be very functional, very functional. So, and especially in the South Yard case, the landscape around the village is super beautiful. So I think I cannot create a building which is more beautiful than the landscapes. So instead, I want to create a framework. So the building is translucent, and it's only 10 centimeters bamboo columns. So we keep the big windows. So in each space, you can see the beautiful landscapes. I think that's the meaning of the new building. It's open, it's multifunctional, and also when you stay in the building, you are more, you're concerned the surroundings more than the interior itself. So I want to make the new buildings very simple. It shouldn't be over charming.
There is strong contrast between old and new, and it's because of the material particularly. And can you explain why did you choose those material like bamboo, glass?
Okay, because old building is break, we cannot change it. We can only put in a steel structure to keep the building shape. And for the new building, in person, I like bamboo. I like bamboo very much because it's stronger than the timber. Because this bamboo is not natural bamboo, it's glue laminated bamboo, which means they try to break the natural bamboo and keep the fibers and use a huge high pressure machine and glues to make it solid. So the natural the performance of the bamboo actually is much stronger than the timber. And that's why I use this material, because it's local, it's very Chinese. And it actually is new material. It's at that time, it's very new material, and it's very strong. And that's why you can see the whole column is only 10 centimeters, because if it's steel, it can be 20 centimeters, and that will destroy the whole space. So actually, when the column is only 10 centimeters, it's more than a structure. It's part of the space. You can hold it. You can climb on it, and when you are drunk, you can play the disco with the column as well. So it's very light, and that's why we can keep the span is only 3.6 meters, because normally 3.6 is a very small span. If the column is 20 or 30 centimeters, and that will be it will be like a garage, a parking place in the shopping mall. And because the column is very thin, and you will ignore the span of 3.6, and you will feel it's like in a small forest. So it's very easy the structure can be very easy to be ignored, and it's cheap actually. It's very cheap.
Thank you. And yes, just before you talk about the glass and the way it's translucent and what really is to me interesting in the project is there is a play of light in this building, and
Okay.
I have the feeling that it's something important to you, so it's true.
You mean the skylight?
Yeah, the skylight and
Okay.
the play of light in the building.
Okay, Magali, can I share my screen?
Yes, of course you can. There's no restriction, so you could do it freely.
So where is it?
It's on the.
Oh yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
I think it's in English for you.
Oh yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I tried to find a very old folder, the South Yard documents. I can share some photos of the site. So this is the first time when I see the building. It's like this. It's like this, and for the skylight, I was inspired by this because it's an abandoned building. It's very old and demolished. So some of the tile is missing. But I was inspired by the skylights. It's like the stars, you know. And at the same time, I realized when you're a citizen, when you return to a village, I think it's a good idea to make you realize the time is going slowly. So when you have the spotlight from the sky, actually it's changing slowly. And I can find the picture because there are two cats in the south yard, and they always stay in the sunlight spot, and they move slowly with the sunlight spot. So this is how the idea comes from. Oh yeah, and this is original site. It's a very old building actually. I can find the cat. Where's the cat? No. The cat always staying here. Always staying here. Yeah. And the skylight is, there's a roof. There's a windows on the top. Okay.
How this project was received by the villager?
Sorry?
How this project was received by the villager? Did they like it in their first impression, or?
Oh yeah, they like it, of course, but they don't understand it. In the beginning, they do not understand because, as I introduced before, all their dream is to earn money to make their building in concrete. And they do not, and once they have the money, they will demolish the old building and try to make concrete ones. And they do not understand why we keep the old building. They're gonna think that was old, it's abandoned, it's not a good building. So in the beginning, they do not understand, but they know, and at the same time, actually their building is also renovated by the government. But the way of renovation is only, we call it making up the facade, to paint them white, to give some decorations, and to make them look like new. And actually in the beginning, they are very proud. They're gonna say, okay, look at my building, it's getting new, and it looks very modern. And but afterwards, when the South Yard is open, and every day there are so many people visiting, they saw the news, they check the medias, and they will come here to visit, to take pictures. And in the beginning, the villagers, they do not really understand the value of our design, which for me it's good. I think it's not necessary to convince the villagers about the design issue. It's impossible. It's not necessary. But after that, we found something very interesting. They do not understand the philosophy of the design, but they try to copy the fence. If you noticed, we put the stone with the half height of the wall, and then we put the bamboo fence to cover the whole south yard. And then after that, we discovered the neighbors, they copy the same way to make the walls and the decorations. So they try to copy some of our design, which is very good, I think, which is very good. But there's one thing I was very touched, because I'm not sure if Magali was in there, because once we had a big party and it's a drinking competition again, and we invited the villager to join us to drink alcohols, and I think they are drunk. And there's old man who was very touched, almost crying. He said, "Oh, do you remember?" He talked to another old villager. He said, "Do you remember when we were kids? We played in this building. We playing here." And he suddenly realized this red brick building is the only memory they can found in the whole village, because the rest is demolished. The rest they're covered by the new concrete and the brick tiles. And the only red brick building is the only space they can recover their memories, what they do, and when they are kids, when they are teenagers. I think he's very sad at that time. And I'm not sure if this is the value of the design, if it's good to make him sad. But I think at least we realized we try to keep the memory of the village. So concerning your question, I think of course they accepted the south yard, the design, even they do not know why. But they know south yard is really welcome. It's very popular. So they try to copy many design issues like the walls or the glass, something like that.
And Angelina, I think there is a first part in your question. It's about the uses of the building.
Yeah. I wanted to ask this after. Yeah, this project offers several uses, and how this building works concretely. Like you talk about children before, so how this building works.
Yeah, what's happening in the south yard, and what's the evolution during 5 years, because it changed. Okay. And maybe Mu Wei, you could also say us, how do you react as the designer to this evolution, to these changes that appears during 5 years? And okay,
this is a good question, because in the beginning, the function for the old building, it's a small laboratory for reading, for brainstorming, and some handcraft works. So the ground floor, it's a big open space. You can organize the furniture as you want. It can be a reading space. It can. They also have a small projection, so you can share the movies or anything you want. So the ground floor is public space, and the loft, it's two functions. One function is a small office, because Ms. Huang, they have some operation guys in the south yard, so they use up floor as a temporary office. And also in the summer school areas, the kids can sleep in the loft, because it's a big area with a beautiful sky view. So the kids can stay in the loft. And for the new building, actually, in the beginning, the idea is to make a big open restaurant. So we put a kitchen part to the corner, and also we separate the space in different areas. So it can be a kitchen. It also can be a teaching space, and we put many books in the new building. So the kids or the visitor can have a coffee, can read, or can work a bit. So that was original idea. And when the building is done, Ms. Huang started to operate the project. I think in the beginning, she's not so clear about what she should do. Because I remember in the beginning, it's open space. It's 100% open space, because she really wants the villager to return, want to citizen to visit. And then I think there are some problems about some glass are losing, some books are lost. I mean, and then she started to close the yard. So when we were in there, I think Magali is more like a rental space. Any company or friends, they can rent the new building for 1 day or 2 days to have dinner, to have some brainstorming conference. So it's more like a rental space. And for now, I think she's using the space, the new building as the classroom, because I noticed that in the last year, every weekend she tried to organize some workshops about natural education, about making fabrics, some ram earth workshops. So it's more like a workshop space for now. And also it's a small coffee. They have a small coffee and beers and some basic drinkings.
And the old part is still the library and also the classroom, or did it change since?
For the old part is more, now I think it's more like office, because Ms. Huang has many, I think 5 employees. So basically it's a big meeting room and they can work in there.
Okay, and according to my question, as a designer, how do you make an auto analysis of what you have made?
What do you mean auto analysis?
According to the uses, is it a good design, or if you have to do it again? Would you do the same thing, or according to the uses, you will do something differently?
Oh yeah, that's I never asked this question to me. I think I would do the similar thing, because for me, because personally I'm not a formalist. I don't want to create crazy forms. I'm not very big fan of that. I prefer design strategies. First of all, we need to set up the precise strategy, which means keep old, add new, and the new should be simple. And if I do it again, I think it will be the same. It will be very close to what we have done, like this.
Thank you. I have another question about this project particularly. Did you encounter any particular difficulties for this project? Something that it was really difficult to solve?
Oh, yeah. I think the difficult part is about the construction quality, the contractors, the workers, because that area is a very poor area. It's a very poor village. And also Ms. Huang, even she's a client, but she's not a millionaire. She's not a big company. She's alone, she's on her own. So she used herself money to realize this project. So we cannot hire a big contractor to do this small project. So we can only use workers in the village. And that's the point, because we prefer the high quality detailing, materiality, but for the local workers, I mean, they even cannot read. And especially in China, we have a joke, never trust the workers. You have to keep the workers visible, because once they escape from your eyes, I mean, the quality will lose control. So actually, there's a sad thing about the new part of the South Yard. If you notice that to the north we have a red brick wall. You remember that it's a red brick wall because the kitchen part with the drainage and the water system. But that before the red brick, it's a ram earth wall. And that's why I respect Ms. Huang, because I said, okay, ram earth is expensive, and actually not so many old workers can do the ram earth again. But she discovered one 70 years old man who said, okay, trust me, I can do the ram earth until the ram earth wall crashed. Let me try to find the pictures if I can. I think, oh yes, here it is. Okay, let me share the screenshot. It's a very sad thing. If you notice that it was ram earth. And it's actually, for me, it's very easy. It's not ram earth on the ground. It's the ram earth on the concrete, which means it's easier. Which means it's easier. And I cannot find the pictures when it collapsed. Yeah, it was ram earth wall, and it's finished, and it crashed. It crashed. So that's very sad thing. So, but I want to find my documents about, actually we didn't send the drawings to the workers because I really know if I send all the drawings, the details to the workers, the quality will not be kept. But actually that's one of the reasons we use the prefab system, because when the building is prefabbed, I mean, the workers cannot do too many mistakes. At least the form is kept. And then we made a bit like a cartoon drawings. So that we give them the first week, okay, foundations. That's all the drawings you have. Do not think, do not work harder. Just finish my picture 1. And the next week, as we send them a picture 2, is axonometry and the AutoCAD drawings. We use the 3D drawing to help them understand what they should do. So that's very challenging part. So we made a bit like a cartoon. So you can see page 1, page 2, to guide them which part you should do. And when you are done, I give you a new drawing. So we send the drawing step by step to control the quality.
Mu, is it very usual for Chinese firms to be on site, to be on the construction site? Because we learned from some colleagues from Tianjin University that most of the Chinese architects, they don't have the mission of the construction. They let it to the client or to the workers, and they stop working, they give the drawings, and then they don't follow the construction site because they are not paid for it, as far as
exactly.
I understand. So how do you manage with that? Because you are an architect that is on site and you are not paid to make that. So how do you convince your client that you have to be on site and you have to control the quality till the end? They could not do it by themselves, etc.
I mean, that's it's a paradox, especially in China. For the big commercial company, all the contract end up with drawings. So you got paid by selling a package of drawings, and that's it. Actually, you cannot control it. Even in the construction time, the client can change some part. So it happens a lot. But it really depends on what's your interest. Because my interest is to finish my design with high quality. And that's the only way I can keep my project quality kept. That's why Ms. Huang didn't pay me, but we went to the South Yard a lot. And that's actually that's not easy, because even you are not paid, even you want to go to the site. But normally we sign the contract normally 3 times. The client gonna pay us 3 times. We call it on-site service. Basically for the structure, when the structure is done, okay, you go to there to check. When the building part is done, you go to there to check. And then the interior infrastructure is done, you go to the site to sign. But it doesn't mean you can really keep the 100% quality, because your job is is done by the drawings already. But when the building is too big or the project is too big, the client can change, I don't know, the tables, the tiles, or the curtain walls. There's so many things you cannot control. And that's the other reason we personally, I really want to work with the prefab system, because with the prefab, that's the best way to keep everything controlled.
I have another question more about the way you work. How the design process, how the design process work in your office? Like you're doing models, you're drawing a lot, what software do you use? I don't know.
I think our working process is very simple. We normally receive the project. We're gonna go to the site to take enough pictures, or you use the drone to have the sky photos to really understand the site. And then we're gonna have sketches. And we also try to find some inspiration from the internet, from Pinterest, from ArchiDaily, to find some material reflections or some quick inspirations. And then we use hand sketches to draw the concept. And my colleague gonna use SketchUp or Rhino, basically two programs, SketchUp and Rhino, to make the 3D test, the volume and the materials and everything. Yeah. And then I think we have a lot of very hard working time from concept to the final design. But normally we do a lot of selections. We're gonna have even internal competitions. And for now, for this week, for example, I designed 4 cabins. Even I'm confused which one is good. So I share the 1, 2, 3, 4 to my friends and to my client friends or to my relatives, and they're gonna vote. Okay, which one do you want to leave? I think it's good to communicate with the different people, just to make sure you're not in a narrow area. Your view is not very narrow, because we are designer, but we are not the final user all the time. The final user is maybe my grandpa. I don't know. Anyway, it's not only architects. So we're gonna have the voting session sometimes.
Okay, thank you. And before you say that Miss Huang thought that your architecture was Japanese, and my question is, what are your source of inspiration? Your maybe Japanese architect or something else?
You mean me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think for now, maybe 80% of the young architect students are big fan of Japanese architects, especially the drawings. I think is a big issue. But for me, actually, I'm not very big fan of Japanese architects. Even I really like Sana, Sajima, Ito. When I was a student, I really liked their design. Yeah, but I realize now there's a bad trend. I think all the young Chinese architects, students, especially students, they confused design and drawings. You know, even actually, Magali, you can make a test. You can ask your students to draw a existing small building in Paris. It's done. It's 80%. It's not very elegant. But if the students can use a Japanese way to make the drawings very light, very green, very, very simple, actually, it looks very good. It looks like a good design. So I think, especially in my class, I think the kids, not the kids, the young students, they confused with the physical design and the graphic design. You know, even it's a very stupid design, but they can present it very nice in the Japanese style. You know, with the very nice sketches, girls or boys in the scene, very Sajima style about the renderings. I think in a way they forgot what's the final production of architect. It should be materials. It should be very heavy, very solid, and it's very heavy. It's not only a beautiful, light or smooth presentation drawings. So this is my first issue about the typical Japanese style drawings for now. And that's why I concern the building should be built. I mean, that's a very important part. And for the designer, you should know not only the programs or 3D I think we should know the real world better than any other people. It means you should know the smell of the material and the touchment of the material and the weight of the material. If we are not more sensitive than the other people, how can we organize the material in the right way to make them cry, you know? So first of all, we should be more sensitive than other people. And I think I'm not really influenced by the Japanese, neither Spanish or Norwegian. I think sometimes I talked this with Magali a bit when we were drunk. I think the style, our style comes from my childhood, really comes from my childhood. It's very interesting when I working in Norway, because Norwegian architects, they are very different. They really concern materiality. I still remember one day when I was drawing the detail of a cabin. We are drawing the details. It's a detailed drawing with the architect. And one of my colleagues is Norwegian, and he was a carpenter. And he said, "Mo, when you draw the sections, you should smell the wood." I mean, I was really touched. You know, normally we just hatch. Okay, this is wood, this is brick. And he said, "Mo, when you draw this two timbers connections, even the drawing is black, it's white." But he said, you should smell this detail. Well, I was really touched by the way of he describing things. And for the Norwegian architects, as you know, they built very, very few. They don't have towers to build. And their diploma project is only 150 square meters. I was surprised. Their diploma project in China is 3,000 square meters. Your diploma project has to be bigger than 3,000 square meters. But for the Norwegian, it can be 150 square meters, but with every detail, which means the building should be constructible. Even it looks ugly, but it should be constructible first. So when I returned from Norway, I really quit any like architecture media. I don't read the magazine anymore. I don't really follow I see many new buildings publication a lot, but I will never refresh them every day, because I suddenly realized we are not really learning architecture for many years, but we have been experiencing urban space, courtyard, everything for 25 years, 30 years. I suddenly returned to my childhood. We have a really beautiful yard. We have 5 types of trees, and every year I count, okay, which leaf comes first, which grass comes first, and the insects, the frogs. And when I went to the school, I will pass a very narrow street. It's only 100 meters. And when I meet people should really twisting to pass each other. I mean, all my memories comes to me, and it's very fresh. It's not only about the pictures. It's 3D, even 4D. It reminds me the bricks and the stones falling on the ground. So I came to a period of time of, I call it internal learning, to refresh all my experiences and everything. And then I try to transform all my impressing like experiences in my growing up anytime as my future design. So that's why but it's for now it's not good. I read too little, but I think that's very interesting question, because many people said, oh, it's very obvious. It's AAL's project. Even our project, they never have the right form. But if you look at our project, 10 projects in a row, you will find some comments, and this comment is not to the form. It's kind of I don't know, spirit sometimes, or something very different, even though not in the same scale, same material, but people can tell, okay, this must be AAL's work, something like that. So, but this is a very good question. I've been also asking me a lot. I mean, what's our style? I don't know, actually, I do not know what's our style. Our style probably is to create the new envelopes to inspire people, to give people new experiences. So this is every time we try to, what we try to create.
You speak about memory.
Yeah.
But I think there is also an exercise of projection to the future, how my design will be used by the different users. And to return to the South Yard, or maybe you could take another project as an opening of the interview. Would you imagine when you make this design that it will be so multifunctional and so reversible and so flexible as it is? Because my previous question was to lead to this point. I think it's a good design, and you should do it if it has to be redo the same way, because it's super flexible, it's super adaptable. When you do you use the projection in the future also, saying, okay, it could be used like that, so I should model the space like that because it could be used like that? How do you proceed with the not only memory that you want to put like imaginary and poetry in the design, but about the functions and how the people could take place in space?
Oh yeah, I think you are pointing the right part, because I can predict even in the South Yard, the function is not really fixed, because it's not office, it's not a school. Especially I know in the Chinese village, it's not easy to operate in a village, especially like Miss Huang. So I believe in the future, they're gonna have many changes of the functions. That's why I set up this modular system, and we try to set up some courtyard to separate. We can have a main space. We also can have a separated space, and they can also be together. If they are the same group of people, they can use the whole building as one part. So this is about uncertainty of the space. I think especially in the village, in the Chinese village project, yes, it really reminds me. I always try to keep the building a potential to fix different uncertainties in the future. Not 100% precise, because it means it can be conflict with another another function. I think that's why even I do the South Yard again, maybe in different shape or different scale, but it will be the same strategy.
Yes, I think it's the best value for architecture for the future. This ability of changing and let happening what should happen.
Yeah.
And to finish, maybe what would you say to us about the future? You talk a bit about the future wiki camp that that you will set near Shanghai and Chengdu, as far as I remember. And what else? What do you want to do? What are your dreams for your firm?
My dream, okay. I think my dream is to help the stupid, hardworking Chinese to realize the value of the nature. I think they are working too much. I mean, they're really concerned luxury cars, digital stuff. We have 5 apartments in Wuhan, and I think we started in a right moment. Especially now, people started to realize the value of the nature, and it's very different from before. Before, maybe they go to the hotels, they visited the big, the touristic areas, and now more and more people, they prefer to stay in our cabin with a big fire and with beers alone to meditate a bit, to relax alone instead of traveling far, traveling abroad. So my dream for now is try to help more Chinese to stay in the nature. Yeah, that was my dream.
And maybe to make them discover different nature. That would be a step of discovering ecology of China.
Yeah, I think so. I think also the central government realized we are copying the urbanization process like in the West. I think near 1960 or 70s, it has the same process. The older, okay, at that time, the young generation, they started to fight against with the, democracy, hierarchy, and they want to return to the suburban, to the villages. And then in Europe, you have the similar quality about living, not a big gap in China. I mean, the city is really city, a bit like in Brazil. In Brazil, it's more clear. I mean, the city is city and the suburban is another completely like hell. I think China is not that big difference, but the central government realized we are losing the farmland. We have too many people in the urban areas, and we are losing all the natural philosophies. So from last year, the central government put the first principle is about sustainability. And they try to control the real estate developers, to control the price and to push them to go to some projects in the village.
Good. Thank you so much, Mu. Maybe Angelina, if you want to make a short conclusion or giving your maybe your opinion about the South Yard, because you studied since 2 months now.
First, thank you very much for all your answer. And now I think I love the project even more than before, because I think it's really interesting. How did you, particularly the picture you show me about the skyline now, it was really inspiring. See how this project starts in your mind, and yeah, really inspiring to me.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you very much for this.
Oh yes, Magali, I have another theory about design, especially for the South Yard. Now I don't use this a lot, but when I was 30 something, I feel architect sometimes is more like detective, like Sherlock Holmes, and every site is like crime scene. It's like crime scene, but there are always some clues in the crime scene, and you need to use your instinctive sensibility to grab the right clue to reform the crime scene, but not really crime scene. That's why we can take South Yard for example. When we're in the site, you can see the red brick, you can see the broken roof, and that was my clue. And I was wondering, actually, there was a South Yard before, but it vanished, it demolished. So now we need to discover the old South Yard in this right time, in this 2015. So what it should look like. So sometimes that's how I started to work, to find the unique clue, to give the unique answer sometimes. So that was my trick sometimes when I was 30 or 35. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magali. Thank you, Angelina.
Thank you. Do you want to make us a little visit of your agency?
Oh yeah, why not?
I don't know if you are on your computer or phone. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in my meeting room.
We could not travel, but we do it. Anyway.
It's our meeting room, and okay. It's so dark. And this is our entrance. And you can see this is our prototypes of different materials or installations. Here, this is the wall with the renderings or site, everything. And this is my seat. It's full of mess. This is my seat. And then this is the materials. We have materials in the office all the time. And this is our BI corner. So you can see we put some canvas as our building site. And this is our posters for different festivals. And this is our dinner paper, the tissues. We also design our tissues. And we design our envelope. This is our own envelope. And we have a lot of material issue. And this is all the papers and the renderings. And here is also material corner, quite a mess. Right? We are doing a lot of tests, like we have many kinds of timbers in the office. That's very important. You know the material, the smells, and everything. And
we lose you. You are in a no Wi-Fi zone.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
It's okay. It's okay again. Yeah, you're back.
No, it's good. No, it's good. Yeah, it's like this.
And where are they? They are on the wiki camp?
I don't know. Where are they? They disappeared.
Yeah, the quality is under control, but not the employees.
I don't know where are they. Yeah. We have, oh yeah, this is our also materials. Look, there's a big prototype of material. So you can see the details. Maybe here is better. Yeah. And that's where we put the metal profiles. And that's why our building can be built like Lego. I don't know. I think they know I'm in the meeting room, so they go to the drinking or smoking area. But Angelina, maybe in the end, I can quick share our project video. I'm not sure if I have it. Can you see it?
Yes, you have to discover where they are. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll call the police.
That's the scene of crime of the day. Yes. And thank you so much for your time. And Angelina will come back to you with work when it will be finished. So you by email or WeChat, we will see how we will send it back. And thank you so much also because everything is possible of this teaching because of you, because you put me in contact with the different firms. We've got an interview with each of them. We've got only 2 left, Arch Studio just after you, and tomorrow Arch Mixing.
Okay.
And everything will be down, and very good meeting, very good discovery. It was really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angelina, and we keep contact by email and everything.
Okay,
perfect. Bye bye, Mu. See you soon.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.